Okay, are you ready? Learner's Book, page 85.
Not yet, miss. I'm opening. Just now I was trying to find an empty page in my
I
thinking
see.
journal.
Okay. Oh, don't forget your thinking journal because you need to note down, some things. Okay. So there you go. This is what we're going to discuss today, okay? There you go. Can everybody see my screen? So, children, can you see my screen?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, miss. At the waiting room, miss.
All right. If it's still loading, just be patient, all right? Now, today we are working with complex sentence. There you go, working with complex sentence. Now, an explanation text uses sentences of different length. Phrases and clauses add details to make sentences more interesting and helpful. Number 1, which of the following are phrases and which are clauses? Now, children.
Miss, can you let Keith in? He's not in.
Okay. Okay, children. Do you know the difference between phrase and clause? Tell me, do you remember the difference between phrase and clause? Or what are phrases and what are clauses? Do you remember? Don't worry, Justin, if you cannot see anything, just be patient there or log out Zoom and then try to enter again. I am recording our lesson, so you will be able to repeat the video recording in order to understand the lesson. All right? Now, phrase. This is what I need to tell you. Okay? A clause. Here. A clause consists of subject and verb. It's always like that. If you have a clause, there must be the subject, there must be verb. As for phrase, it consists of only words, which makes sense. 2, 3 words, 4 words, but it should make sense. For example, I give you example, okay? For example, it's a big house. Big house consists of 2 words, but when you combine them together, big house, they make sense. So this is what we call phrase, but there is no subject and there is no verb. However, in a clause, you should have subject and you should have verb. All right? So now let's try to identify here. A. Is A clause or a phrase?
Phrase.
A phrase. Good job. So please, children, on your learner's book, just give here P as phrase. Okay? All right? A is phrase. B, is it phrase or clause?
Phrase.
Phrase 2, good job. There is no subject, there is no verb. So it's a phrase. C, is it a phrase or a clause?
Clause.
It's a clause. Wow, here. This is the subject.
Miss, what is
This is the verb. Okay? All right. So C is a clause because this is the subject and this is the verb. Next, D.
Miss, what is for B? Because I don't hear just now. I was glitching.
What do you think, Jaden? What is B? Is B a phrase or a clause?
Clause. I mean phrase.
If it's a clause, there must be subject and verb. Where is the subject and verb? There's no subject, there's no verb. So B is definitely a phrase. C is a clause because it consists of subject and verb. What about D?
Phrase.
A phrase. Good job. What about E?
Clause.
Clause.
Which one is the subject?
Crystals grew.
Those. And the verb
Crystals is
is?
subject and the verb is grew.
Yes. The verb is
Grew.
good job, children. Now, F.
Clause.
Clause.
It's a clause. Which one is the subject?
Subject air deteriorate verb.
Okay, subject they. Deteriorate is the verb. G.
Clause.
Another clause. The subject is
Shoot.
Subject is you and
you.
the verb is wear.
Yes, must wear. Okay. Next, H.
Phrase.
Good job. H is phrase because there is no subject, there is no verb. Okay. So, is everyone clear about about a clause and a phrase? I'm going to stop sharing.
Yes.
You are clear? Give me the thumb up icon. Give me the thumb up icon if you're clear. Okay, nobody gets left behind, right? Everybody can label their own books. Okay, good job, Justin. If you still cannot see, you can go back to the video later on. I will post this video later on. All right, now let's continue. I'm moving to this, our language focus. It's a simple sentence has one clause. That is a simple sentence. A complex sentence has main clause. One main clause. Here, children. Complex sentence has one main clause with a finite verb and one or more dependent clauses. Okay, what is the meaning of that? Just bear with me. In complex sentence, the main clause can stand alone. See? This is the difference. Main clause can stand alone. The other clauses provide extra information and are introduced by subordinating conjunctions. So, for example, this one. They stumbled upon the cave when pumping water out of the mine. Okay, I'm going to go back to the previous text, all right? Hold on, previous text. Here you go. Sorry for these lines. Just ignore it. For example, part C, when they pumped the water out. If you see part C, this is a clause. This is what we call as dependent clause because dependent clause cannot stand on its own. When you tell someone, when they pump the water out, and then they will get confused. What do you mean when they pump the water out? They pump the water out of where? And who are they? You see, because this whole clause, when they pump the water out, it doesn't make sense. So you actually need the main clause to make this making sense. Let's go back here. Okay, Now, based on the example, this is the main clause and this is the dependent clause. Can you please, children, underline the example and type this as dependent clause. Okay, that's dependent clause. And this part is main clause. All right, remember, a main clause can stand alone. So if I don't have dependent clause, I only have the main clause. They stumbled upon the cave. We understand they stumbled upon the cave. It's one idea, and we can understand the idea that some people here stumbled upon the cave. All right? Now, some subordinating conjunctions: as, because, though, when, unless provided, while, although, as if, even if, as if, so that, as long as, despite. Now, children, do you remember what we learned yesterday? What was the topic yesterday? Yesterday we were talking about connectives.
Yes.
Connectives. And if you see, some of these are also connectives, right? Yeah. So some of these are also connectives. Now you will see this. I'm going to erase all of this. Hold on.
Yes, may I go to the toilet?
Can you wait for a while and listen to the explanation? Okay.
Okay.
Now, this is where you are going to take note. This is what I call as connectives umbrella. Connectives is actually a lot of things. A lot of things. And below that umbrella, you have conjunctions, which is divided into two, coordinating conjunctions, and we use it for compound sentence, or subordinating conjunctions, we use it for complex sentence. We have also adverbs and adverbials. We call it also connectives. Okay, we have prepositions. We also call it connectives. All of these are called connectives. So connectives are actually everything that connects. Okay, all these words, and, but, because, although, every one of these words, the function is to connect. It's just that they have special names. So as for now, because we are learning about complex sentence, these are called subordinating conjunctions. Yes, Bella? Yes, Bella, you raise your hands.
Is one day
Yes, one day is also connectives because one day is a part of adverbs, okay? It is showing time. Yesterday we learned two connectives, time and logical. One day is showing time. So yes, it's connective also. All right? Remember, connectives are words that the function is to connect. All right? Now, we are learning about subordinating conjunctions now because we are discussing about complex sentence. That's why you need to, that's the thing you need to understand. Everyone, now I need you to draw the umbrella and draw the information below it. Please note the title is connectives. The umbrella is called connectives. Okay? Do it now. I will give you about 3 minutes to draw and also to write. Go ahead. 3 minutes. All right, I'm going to continue with our presentation, okay? So here you go. The next one. What are subordinating conjunctions? Children, you don't have to copy this. No, please don't copy. But I'm going to explain to you. We're going to read this, okay? Can somebody help me to read the first paragraph? Come on, somebody help me.
Melissa.
Go ahead, Kalista.
So what is a subordinating conjunction? Subordinating conjunctions join independent or main clauses with a dependent or subordinate clause. A clause that is dependent subordinate is a clause that contains two qualities.
All right, the second,
I can.
go ahead.
The first quality is that a, a subordinate clause does not complete a thought on its own, which means it can't act as a sentence on its own. The second quality is that it relies on an independent clause, which is a clause that can act as a sentence on its own.
Thank you. Now the third paragraph. Who wants to read?
Bella,
Go ahead.
as an example, the word because exists show to show you the cause and effect of something, which is essentially what a subordinate conjunction does. Example, you must not go inside the cave. Main clause can stand alone because it is dangerous. Dependent clause.
Thank you. Thank you, children. Now, what you need to copy is only this example here. Please copy this example here. Okay? So you know that this is the main clause and it can stand alone, but the dependent clause cannot stand alone because it does not complete a thought on its own. Okay? When you tell someone, because it is dangerous, they will get confused. Because it is dangerous. What do you mean because it is dangerous? What is dangerous? They would not know. But when you say you must not go inside the cave because it is dangerous, then they would know, they would understand the whole idea. Go ahead, copy only this example part. Copy only this example part. Okay, now I'll continue. There you go. Now these are the things that you have to take note. Please take note everything. How to write subordinating conjunctions. The first way is to have the main clause first and followed by subordinate clause. Subordinate clause, I mean. There is no comma required with this simple structure. We have talked about this, I think, in term 2, okay, last term. So this is only a review for you, but you need to note down again because noting down is also a good thing to do so you remember more. The first example, Amber rubbed her eyes as she opened a new training article. There is no comma here. No comma is required with this simple structure. The second, I prefer to write while my children are at school. No comma at all. You simply close the sentence using a full stop. That's it. Now I'm going to continue, okay? So this is the first way to write main clause and subordinate clause. The second way. Now you have subordinate clause coming first in a sentence and the main clause comes after. Because the sentence is beginning with a dependent clause, a comma should usually come at the end of the subordinate clause before starting the main clause. The example here, while Drew sets up the show booth, comma, now we have the main clause. John explains the services to some interested guests. The second example, although Katie assured me it was fine, comma, the main clause, I still felt terrible about it. Okay, I'm going to continue now. All right. So,
Miss, I'm not done yet.
okay, Kevin, you can check the presentation later from your Edmodo folder. Now, everybody go to your learner's book, page 86. Open it. Open it, please. Learner's book, page 86. Number 2, find the main clause in each complex sentence and write it in your notebook. Okay, children, go ahead. Open your thinking journal. Don't forget to write LB page 86. And now let's discuss which part is the main clause of these sentences. A. What is the main clause of the sentence? Do you remember? Do you understand, or do you still need me to explain more? Should I explain again, children?
John crystals form in the cave.
I already understand, Miss.
Okay, so what is the main clause? I heard Keith.
Giant
Yeah.
crystals form in the cave.
Crystals form the cave.
Good job, children. Yes. So the main clause is this. Giant crystals form in the cave. That's the main clause. Please write it down. You have to write the main clause. What about B? What is B?
The cave was discovered in 2000.
Yes, yes. There you go. Now C.
The crystals are
The
dangerous.
crystals are dangerous.
Yes. Crystals are dangerous. What about D?
A person will only survive for a few minutes inside the cave.
Yes, thank you. There you go. The last one is E.
The crystals
The
will
crystals will deteriorate.
Wow, very good job, children. Very good job. Okay, please write down those main clause. I will continue to the next. Hold on. I have to erase first, I think. Okay, I'll continue now. There you go. Now, children, those main clauses that you have written from number 2, you will use them again. Use the main clauses you wrote down in your notebook to make up your own complex sentences. Add the new dependent clauses now. Now, this is the examples. The examples is taken from E. The crystals will deteriorate unless scientists can work out a way to preserve them. You don't have to write example, but then now you have to match the main clauses you have from number 2 with A, B, C, D. Okay, so for example, A, so they should wear protective gear. What main clause would you put here?
The crystals are dangerous.
Crystals are dangerous.
Ooh, the crystals are dangerous, so they should wear protective gear. Are you sure?
The cave is dangerous.
Yeah, not the cave is dangerous. Can you see it here? A person will only survive a few minutes inside the cave. Right? And then, so they should wear protective gear. Does it make sense for you? Right? I repeat, I would choose D. A person will only survive for a few minutes inside the cave. Okay, I choose this. And then I match it with A. So they should wear protective gear. Now, please write them in full sentences. Go ahead. Combine them together just like the example. Okay, what about B? Because the conditions were just right. What about B? Which main clause match B?
The crystals will deteriorate because the conditions were just right.
You cannot use that anymore. Here, the crystal will deteriorate. It's already here. So please use something else.
The crystals form because the conditions were just right.
Yes, the crystals form because the conditions were just right. Okay, good idea. And now you're going to continue with C and D.